What's good, everybody? Welcome back. Of course, it's none other than Cooking with Tammy. Today I'm going to show you how to make a Big Mac potato casserole. I know you're like, what, girl? What? You always coming up with something. But anyway, I can guarantee you this recipe right here, my loves, if you're a potato lover, not to mention a ground beef lover as well, you're definitely going to appreciate this recipe. All right, first thing we want to do to this nice hot skillet, we're going to add some ground beef. Now, this is about 20% fat, so I'm going to have a little fat at the end of this process. However, if you're using a different type of beef that's maybe leaner, then you're not going to have to drain anything off as far as excess oil. This recipe, you could use yellow or white onions. However, I am going to be using Vidalia onions. It's a little less pungent, right? A little bit more on the sweet side. However, it's not going to affect anything. The pan is really hot, so we've only been cooking for about 1 minute so far. And this meat is almost 100% cooked all the way through. All right, we're going to push everything to the side, and I'm going to go with a paper towel and dab up some of that excess oil. All right, I have a little bit of oil left, and that's perfect because we are going to add our onions. We're going to allow these onions to saute and allow all of the aromatics to be released from the onions. In the meanwhile, in a separate pan, right, you're going to boil some water and we're going to parboil our potatoes for about 6 to 7 minutes until they're not really fork tender, but tender enough, because we're also going to be placing it into the oven. It's a good pinch of salt to give our potatoes a little flavor. Oh, by the way, these potatoes are sliced about 1/8 inch thick, thanks to hubby. If it was up to me, you guys would be getting cube potatoes. Because imagine, right, having to be precise, 1/8 inch thick. And don't get me wrong, I have a mandolin, but God knows where it is. And I'm like, listen, we have to get this recipe done, okay? So yeah, I would have cut it up in cubes and call it a day. Anyway, as you can see, a little bit of the beef is stuck to the bottom of the pan. So I'm going to add a small amount of water to release the beef from the bottom of the pan. And also, it's going to allow our beef to steam, so it's going to make it nice and tender. Lower the flame even more while we introduce our other ingredients like salt and ground black pepper. We're also going to add some garlic powder along with our onion powder, diced pickles. These are bread and butter pickles. However, you could use dill pickles. It's all about a preference. It's definitely a preference thing. We're also going to add some yellow mustard. Mix it up really good. Don't worry, it's going to come together like magic. I know you're probably like, what is going on in Tammy's pot today? What's good? What's going on? Did she get enough sleep? Going to turn the stovetop off. Allow this to sit out on the sideline for a second while we work on making our creamy sauce. We're going to start off with some mayo along with ketchup, sour cream. If you don't have sour cream on hand, you could definitely use Greek yogurt as a substitute. And the reason why we're creating this sauce is simple. We want to create a creamy layer for our potatoes. If not, it's going to dry out during the cooking process, and trust me, it's not going to be as tasty. Once we're done, we're just going to put this guy to the side. Okay, boom, just like that. These are what the potatoes should look like. They're still slightly hot, or a lot of hot. Nevertheless, this is what it should look like, okay? 6 to 7 minutes of boiling, and once you're done, you're going to rinse it off in cold water to stop the cooking process. You can't have Big Mac without Big Mac sauce. You just can't. You're gonna need some mayo, ketchup, mustard, and this is just regular yellow mustard, not Dijon, relish. Sweet relish, by the way. Let's add a dash of paprika. Not smoked, but paprika. However, if you want to add smoke, you can. Also gonna add some apple cider vinegar. If you don't have apple cider vinegar, guess what? Use some regular vinegar with a pinch of sugar, and that will work perfectly fine as well. Stir it up really good. Taste it and see if the Big Mac sauce is saucing. It should be slightly sweet considering we use ketchup and sweet relish. But if it's not sweet enough and you want to add a pinch of maybe, let's say, some sugar, you definitely can. Really quick, you want to hear something really funny? I ordered a squeezy bottle. You know the little squeezy bottle that you put things in, whatever. And it didn't show up on time, maybe because I placed the order at 12 midnight, expecting to get it this morning. Like, girl, what? So anyway, Amazon is on the way with it, but we're not gonna wait for Amazon. I know somewhere we all have some empty bottles, some that's halfway full, and some that's literally empty. One or two things. Either you get rid of the empty bottle by rinsing it out, or just take, like I did, I had a bottle that was halfway full, had like maybe a quarter in here, and I just added it, washed it out. And we are gonna place our funnel, and we're gonna make our own squeezy bottle. I am not gonna wait for Amazon at this point. You may have to make slight alterations to the cover or the top in order for the sauce to come through, basically because of the relish. And we are gonna take half of our potatoes, okay, not the entire thing, and we are gonna place it into our casserole dish. This is the part where the little ones can help out. If you have little ones in the house and they always, I want to cook, I want to cook. Say, I got the perfect job for you, okay? You're gonna line our casserole dish with potatoes. And they're gonna feel so special. I'm gonna add a little bit more. Kind of cover up those little spaces. And besides, I have more than enough potatoes anyway, so why not, right? Kind of like double layer. Okay. We're gonna take some of our beautiful meat and we're gonna add it to the top of the potatoes. Okay, add all of it. Make sure every little nook and cranny has meat on top of it. I tell you one thing, 1 pound of meat definitely goes really far when making a potato recipe. It really does. Favorite blend of cheeses. This is gonna be cheddar and mozzarella. And we're gonna add it to the top. Add a good amount. Adding the cheese is not only gonna make it taste better and give it a nice element of cheese pull, but it's also gonna help the potatoes that we place on the top to stick as well once everything starts to melt. Just add those potatoes once again. This is one of those recipes where it takes forever to pull the ingredients. It really does. But once you start to assemble, it's a really quick process. Let's add some of our creamy sauce to the top. And this, as I said earlier, is what's gonna keep everything nice and moist. You have a little bit of sauce left over, no worries. Better to have a little bit extra than not enough. We're gonna follow it with some more cheese. And we are gonna place it into our preheated 375-degree oven for about 35 to 40 minutes, covered, of course, that is covered with aluminum foil. Once you're done, you're gonna remove the aluminum foil and you're gonna allow it to bake for an additional 10 to 15 minutes in order to get that nice bubbly brown crust that we love when it comes to eating our casseroles. I'm not gonna add any parsley just yet. I'm gonna save that for after. I find sometimes that when you add the parsley prior to putting it in the oven, parsley tends to dry out, especially if you're using fresh parsley, and it's not as beautiful and vibrant as when you allow the casserole to bake, and maybe during the last 5 or 10 minutes you add the actual parsley. I find that when you do it that way, it maintains that beautiful color. Oh my goodness, by the time you take it out of the oven, it's like, wow, gorgeous. All right, our beautiful Big Mac potato casserole is done. And I know you see the setup like, girl, what else are you cooking? This is gonna be for my Quick Bites with Tammy channel. I'm gonna be making a delicious steak and shrimp Calabrini style pasta dish. Yeah, one of those quick recipes. So head on over there, check that video out. But in the meanwhile, let's get into this right here. Let's garnish first before we do our taste test. Gonna add the parsley. That looks absolutely gorgeous. I didn't get a chance to add the parsley during the last 5 minutes of the cooking process, but that's okay. And we're gonna go on with some of our Big Mac sauce, of course. And tell me if that doesn't look appetizing. All right, let's see what we got here. All right, baby. Ooh, this is good. Gorgeous. Got a little cheese pull. Potatoes are perfectly cooked because we parboiled it earlier. Let's get some of that sauce. Oh, This is good. You guys are gonna love it. Not to mention that Big Mac sauce. Oh my goodness. It's definitely bringing out big flavors. You know what I did with the remaining sauce that we used to keep the potatoes moist? I added it to the Big Mac sauce and just made one delicious sauce. And when I tell you, my loves, it's really, really tasty. Meat perfectly cooked, down to perfection. There's nothing missing. This is just absolutely delicious. If you want to customize it even more, add some of your own seasonings to maybe this casserole, it would definitely turn out perfectly fine as well. As always, I'm your girl Cooking with Tammy, and I would definitely catch you in another video. Anyway, I gotta keep cooking. If you need Cooking with Tammy seasonings, definitely head on over to cookingwithtammy.shop, and I would definitely see you in another video.